All right, Brian, in part 3 of today's show here in the Irish Breakdown podcast, brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel, we're actually taking a jump back, actually. We just got done talking about the NFL. Now we're going to switch gears and we're going to talk some high school football. And we get a lot of really good questions in mailbags and in buy-sell holds about who some of Notre Dame's top targets are. And Brian is starting to put down some breakdowns on the premium message boards at irishbreakdown.com. All the more reason to be a premium message board member of just names to know. And now that the quarterback list has been out for quite some time, a couple days now, we're going to talk about, 3 of the names to know. Yeah, quite some time, 3 days. Time moves pretty fast in our world, bro.
It does. That's what was so funny about what you just said. It's been out for a long time now, at least 3 days,
At least 72 hours it's been out there. So, in our fast ever moving world.
I put the running back one out 2 days ago, and I've already had to add a guy to it, because they offered a running back. I'm like,
sure.
But no, that struck me as funny.
No, it is, man, in our ever-changing world. But there are 3 names out there that we kind of want to break down in the 2027 class of quarterbacks to know. Obviously, what's led us up to this point is 2027 commit Teddy Gerard reclassified to 2026, and he'll actually be on campus alongside Noah Grubbs and Blake Hebert behind CJ Carr in the summertime. And so it left some question of, okay, they're still going to bring somebody in the 2027 class. After Brian sat down and talked to some people, we found out that they will be. And Brian, these are kind of the 3 names that we know that they're kind of looking at.
So we were told before the offers went out that they were going to take a quarterback in the 27 class. And then, of course, in the last month and change, they've actually offered 3 quarterbacks. Champ Monds was the first one. And then they offered Davin, Davidson. And then, of course, Cam Lopati. They offered both of those last 2 on the same day. And I think it's important that they do get a good quarterback in this draft class. Or this, my mind's still on the draft. In this recruiting class, because number one, quarterbacks can have an impact on recruiting. Now, I think Teddy Gerard is still going to be very impactful in 27 recruiting. But I think having a quarterback in that class also helps. I also think it's good to stack up depth at the position. There's a world in which we go into the 2027 season and it's Blake Hebert and the 2 current freshmen. And that's it. And you might want a talented player to kind of come in and be part of that. So there are 3 guys on the board now. I won't be surprised if at some point in time the board expands. I don't think they're done with these 3, but I think these are the 3 right now that are going to be on the board. And so we're going to start doing a little bit more recruiting here over the next several months on our Wednesday show especially. This is technically our Wednesday show because it was meant to be our rundown yesterday. So I thought it'd be good to start off with quarterback, Trev. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to watch a little bit of film and just kind of talk about where they are. And the first guy that we're going to talk about is I was about to say Abraham Cisse because somebody just said something in the chat. But Champ Monds is a very intriguing player. It says 2027 quarterback. He's only been a 2027 quarterback for about 5 minutes. He reclassified from 2028. So Teddy went up a year, Champ's going up a year, and then Notre Dame is on him. He was a kid that was very productive I guess you could kind of say it was his freshman year now, Trev, right? A very good freshman year for Vero Beach. Was injured some last year. He hurt his non-throwing shoulder, played 5 games, including he played a little bit in the state title game as he was kind of coming back. And they lost to Lake Mary in the state championship game. Obviously, that's the home of Noah Grubbs, and Noah Grubbs led Lake Mary to the state championship. So Champ Monds is a very talented player. He's got some big-time schools after him. He's not ranked as high as I think he will be, Trev, and I think there's 2 reasons he's not ranked real high right now. Like, when I mean real high, I mean like top 50 quarterback. He's ranked 212 overall by Rivals. He's ranked 93 overall by ESPN. 247 astonishingly has him as a 3-star, which I think is absolutely bonkers. Florida's a major player for him. Ohio State, Miami, Florida State, Tennessee, like crazy offer list. But the other part of it is he didn't play much of last year. Only played parts of 5 games last year. So I think people are going to want to see film. Once he goes out in the summer circuit and the camp circuit, if he does that, or the 7-on-7 circuit, and then when people see him playing as a senior, I think his ranking profile is going to blow up. And I think there's a reason Notre Dame offered him first. So let's watch a little bit of film, Trev. And I think the first thing that you guys are going to see from Champ is a guy with just outstanding arm power. And he just has a very strong arm, bit of a I kind of call it a shotgun thrower. Like, it's not a real, like, he doesn't have like the full motion. He's back and he's gone. You know what I mean? And it comes out, Trev. It's a compact release, but the ball just explodes out, just really explodes out of his hands. Go ahead, Trev.
Yeah,
interject anytime, bro. We're just talking film. Go for it.
Yeah, man. I mean, it looks effortless. I mean, he's putting this. I mean, that was a far-sided hash throw, and he puts that on the money, right. And it looks effortless. To your point, he's not having to. He doesn't have a big crazy windup. He's not overstriding. That the ball pops out of his hand.
Watch his base throughout. Like, this is one thing I love. Watch these 3 throws that he makes right here. This one you can't see as well, but watch all 3 of these. Look at that base. He never loses the base. And the thing I like about that, Trevor, is because he keeps his base throughout his drop, right? Like, bam, base is there. He's always able to quickly get that torque, even a little bit of quick torque. That's one of the things I've argued that I want to see Teddy Gerard do a better job of is he comes off of that back foot too quickly onto his front foot, which saps some power. Champ has a really clean back to front transition of weight and energy in his throw. And he's already got a naturally strong arm anyway. And I think that's something that helps. But like, look at all these throws, Trev. That base just doesn't lose it. And it's real quick. You mentioned, I think the compact part that you mentioned, I think is absolutely spot on. But look how quickly he recovers. And Trev, he makes that throw. This is a 30-yard seam throw from the far hash that he just flicks it like it's a quick slant.
Well, and this is the second clip on his highlight tape so far where he's had to reset. On that earlier throw where it was that screen, that pump and go, he sells the pump fake hard, and then he resets back to that base, and his mechanics are back in flow. I mean, it's spectacular.
Well, and it allows him – so this is a good one here. This is one of my favorite clips because what happens here is he's making a read. So he's going to hit a guy working on a little backside over route. He sees a blown coverage. He's got to get to that route quick. That route you don't expect to come open that quickly. Because he keeps his base so good and it's just such a clean base, he's always in position to throw. And so when he sees this receiver come open quickly, he can quickly go from – drop to throw and speed up the upper body because the base is already set. What happens with a lot of quarterbacks in a situation like this is when they see a receiver come open quick, they have to then get their feet set, then throw. And that can create some issues where with Champ, his feet are already, bam, right there sound. And so he can speed up that upper body and it's clean and crisp and allows him to be accurate as a thrower. Yes. And that's something that, and this is him as basically a sophomore in high school. Essentially. So Champ was a sophomore this year in high school. And then reclassified. He'll go from sophomore to senior year. He technically won't ever be a junior. But look at that. He keeps the ball ready. Look at this. Look at his eyes downfield the entire time, Trev.
Oh, yeah. I mean, very poised as a passer. There's a lot of things that he does that kind of reminds me of CJ. I mean, his base is spectacular. I mean, CJ had a throw like that in the blue gold game. I think he hit like Alex Whitman or Leo Scheidler. One of the two. It was the final touchdown he threw in the blue gold game.
This is another example right here, Trev, by the way. Just look how quickly he gets the ball out. Just he sees it, bam, right on point. Go ahead.
Yeah, going. To your point about his base being set, it allows him to get the throw off quicker. And that's something that we've seen from CJ Carr the last couple of seasons in the blue gold game and then now obviously in games throughout the season.
Look how quickly he can get that ball out. And a lot of guys that have that shotgun motion that he has can't do that as well. But it really is it's the feet. He has some of the best young footwork I've seen from a quarterback. Now, there's some inconsistencies with his upper body mechanics that will get worked on in time. But when he throws like this, Trev, this is as good as it gets. I mean, that is clean. Look at the feet. Quickly set, boom, drive off that back foot. See that? And then just snaps it off like it's nothing. Boom, hits the guy right in stride in front of the safety. Big time play. Big time play.
Yeah.
Like the arm talent with this kid is outstanding, Trev.
It is.
Absolutely outstanding.
Well, I mean, and the other thing I'm seeing too is it's a young kid, essentially a sophomore in high school that's not afraid to attack the middle of the field. That's also rare. You see a lot of younger quarterbacks where like you see the arm talent, you see the mechanics, you see the potential, but a lot of it is outside of the hash. A lot of it's in the numbers. This kid's somebody who's not afraid to attack the middle of the field.
And look, he's a quality athlete, and as you see right here, he can make plays with his legs. He can scramble. He can move the chains. He's not a runner, but he can run. what I like about Champ is he's a good athlete, but he wants to sit in the pocket and beat you in the pocket. You saw it on the throw earlier, Trev, where he's running to the right, and he eventually takes off and scrambles. But until he gets to the line of scrimmage, he's got his eyes downfield looking for somebody to hit.
Yeah.
He's looking for somebody to find. And I think that's a great fit for what Notre Dame wants in this offense is, Mike Denbrock wants a guy that can run, but the priority number one for Mike Denbrock is and always can you dominate from the pocket? And I think that Champ has that potential. Certainly has that potential. So another guy on the go ahead, Trev.
I was just going to say, I was agreeing with you. I was like, yeah, absolutely. He's much more advanced as a passer in terms of like his technical prowess, especially with his footwork, than a lot of sophomores, for sure.
Yep. The next young man we're going to talk about, Trev, is Davin Davidson. Now, this is a young man that has a little bit of a Notre Dame connection. He's a high school teammate. He also led his team through the state championship game this year. They won a state championship at Cardinal Mooney. He goes to Cardinal Mooney High School in Sarasota. If that school sounds familiar to you, it probably sounds familiar for two reasons. One is it's the high school of Elijah Golden, signed with Notre Dame this past year. It's also the high school where Jared Clark is the head football coach. Jared Clark is a former Notre Dame player. Jared Clark was part of one of my favorite Notre Dame quarterback classes ever. He was in the same class as a quarterback coming out of Cardinal Mooney with Carlo Holiday and Matt LaVecchio. They were all in the same class. Jared Clark was actually my favorite quarterback in that class. And I still wish he would have had a chance to play quarterback in college. But he ended up getting moved to tight end and all that. But I really liked him as a quarterback. But so Davin is from his high school, that same high school. This was his first year as a starter. And one thing I like about what they did at Cardinal Mooney is Coach Clark did not ask him to carry that team. He was a bit of a game manager, but they just kind of let him play within the system and just make plays when you can. And what you saw from him, Trevor, is he's got a little bit of gunslinger to him. He's probably the least clean mechanically of all the quarterbacks. But then he can make throws like that, and you're like, yeah, the mechanics will come. What you can't teach is 6'6", 210, and what you can't teach is throws like this. Like that's a third. Look at where he throws it from. That's the 30-yard line. He's fading away. He just turns and flicks it into the end zone 30 yards like it's nothing. Right in stride. Now, is that a throw that you're going to want to make a lot in college? Probably not, because that's probably a throw where Tay Johnson is stepping in front of the ball and picking it off. But it says a lot about just the God-given abilities this young man has. He is just now starting to scratch into the surface of what he can be. Still raw, relatively clean mechanics, just not consistent. But throws like this are what get you fired up about what this kid can be. This is an absolute flipping rope. He throws this from about the 30-yard line to the other 30-yard line like it's on a line, Trev. That is on a line from 30 to 30. This kid has loads of arm talent. Super raw, but also has a lot of talent. And look, part of the reason he's the most inconsistent of the three, part of that is because he's 6'6" with long arms. Usually kids that are as long as him, their ability to harness their throwing motion usually takes longer because there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more moving parts, so to speak, when you've got a 6'6" arm delivery than when you're a 6'2" guy with the kind of arm length that most 6'2" guys have. But the arm talent, Trev, is really impressive. He's got a lot to learn, but he's got another full year of high school left. But big time tools with this kid, Trev.
Yeah, right. I mean, right now he's just out there playing ball. Like this backyard football, but you can see it. You can see the potential when he sits in the pocket like this and delivers something on time, plants off his back foot and drives it. And dude has an absolute cannon. Yeah. Out of the three, I would say this is probably my favorite film to watch because it's very, it's off script. He keeps his eyes down.
You like the guns. I want to say something because sometimes when people use the word street ball, they look at it as like an insult. Like, oh, I can't read deep. No, it's street ball for Trev and I is a compliment. You're just out there making plays. You're not sitting in perfect three-step, Steve Spurrier drop back, Bill Walsh drop back. You're just out there playing ball and making plays. And you're absolutely correct, Trev. He has the most fun plays of the three guys that we're going to watch as a passer.
Yeah. I mean, and look, the last time Notre Dame made a national championship was with a quarterback that was playing street ball. I mean, that's what Riley Leonard did.
Correct.
And they went all the way to the title.
Exactly.
Believe me, it's a compliment. And this kid has more arm talent than what Riley Leonard had at this stage. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if that's overly debatable. This kid's a lot of fun to
Yeah.
watch. When he makes the decision to go, he's an accurate passer. He'll be even more accurate when he gets his mechanics fixed. I mean, this is an impressive kid.
And real quick, just a couple things to point out. This throw right here is against St. Thomas Aquinas. Okay, that's a dime. This next throw is against Jacksonville Bulls in the state championship game. Like, this is a state title game throw, folks. This isn't just some, like, you're playing some D2 team that's 0-10. This is against Bulls. You know, these are throws against St. Thomas Aquinas. Like, that's the thing I like about him is he's being challenged. And that's what I appreciated, that when you watch game film, they don't ask him to carry the team the way that some other highly ranked quarterbacks are, because he's a first-year starter. I actually think it was brilliant by Coach Clark. Next year, he'll be asked to do more. And I think he'll be more prepared to do more. He's got the talent to do more. And when I say do more, do even more from the pocket. They let him kind of play that street ball. That's kind of how Jared Clark was as a quarterback. Next year, I think they'll ask him to do even more from the pocket, more running the offense and things like that, now that he has a year under his belt. But the tools are there. Like, this is a rope. His ball carriage is a little inconsistent. See, like right there, I know you're doing play action, but once you do the play action fake, you got to get that ball up a little bit. But, man, that's what happens sometimes when you got long-arm kid.
Yeah.
That'll get cleaned up just with experience. But, like, throws like this, Trevor, are why he's blown up right now as a recruit. I mean, really blown up as a recruit, and why Notre Dame is on him. Like, the arm talent is very impressive.
Yeah.
Like, somebody in the chat compared him to Deuce Knight. I don't think he's like Deuce Knight. I think he's tall like Deuce. He's not nearly the runner that Deuce was. I think he's a more natural passer than Deuce was at the same age.
Yeah.
Like, he's comfortable from the pocket. Deuce might have had maybe a stronger arm, maybe. I don't even know if that's a given, but, like, look at this back shoulder throw from the 35 to the other 35. You know what I mean? Like, he makes hard throws look super easy. And sometimes, like, when you first watch the film, you're almost kind of like, did he really make that throw? Like, it almost looks so easy for him that it didn't even look like that hard of a throw. And then you had to go back and, like, count the yards. Like, dude, he threw that from the 30 to the 30. Like, that is a rope. And that's what I think you'll see from especially the first two kids, is the ball explodes out of both of their hands. Really explodes out of their hands. And it's just so – you use the word effortless for Champ Monds, and I feel that way about Davin as well. He's just not as consistent with his effortless throw. Because, like I said, he's got the long levers that just need some time to harness, which he will. With Jared Clark coaching him especially, I think he will. But that younger quarterbacks – Trevor Lawrence had a little bit of this too, even early on at Clemson, where he would miss some deep throws because those long levers as a passer took a while to get used to. Davin goes through some of that on game film. You don't really see it on highlight film, but on game film you see it a little bit. He'll have some misses that are related to his release point was off. But as he gets more experience and throws like this become more regular, I mean, Trev, he flicks this from the 20 to the 25. Not even at the 20. Actually, is that the 30? Let me make sure. Yeah, that's at the 30. He backfoots this from the 28, and it lands at the other 25. That's a 47-yard throw, and he's just tossing it. Like, no problem. Like, oh, let me just throw, like, this over-the-top, in stride, perfectly thrown post route. It's a lot of arm talent here, man. A lot of arm talent.
Oh, it's impressive. I mean, I get shades of not quite of what he was as a runner, but if he can fix some of his mechanical issues, and again, some of that's just going to come with maturation. I've always wondered what Everett Golson was going to look like if he was 6'6", and there's a little bit of that, man, with just the pure arm talent. This is impressive.
This is against Aquinas as well. Yeah, he's got loads of tools, Trev. Loads of tools. Yeah. I like this kid a lot. Like, I really like all three of these quarterbacks. Like, I'm in a position now where it's like, which one do you want? Yes.
Yeah.
Like, you get one of these three kids, you're pretty happy with where you are at quarterback. There's no question about it. It's got to get one of them, because they're all three starting caliber quarterbacks, and they're all three talented enough, in my opinion, to come out and challenge Teddy Gerard and Noah Grubbs and Blake Hebert at some point in time. They're not guys that are just guaranteed you're going to sit the bench until so-and-so's done. Like, they're going to be able to compete, and they have the talent to compete, and that's what you're always looking to do. I mean, this is when I was a coach, that was, when I was recruiting coordinator, it's like, guys, look, we're trying to go out and get better kids than we got last year. And then next year, we're going to go out and try to get better kids than we had last. That's what you do as a coach. You keep trying to get better kids every single year. And everybody's going to pick some people like Monds, some people like Lopati, some people like Davin. They're all talented quarterbacks, and I'm totally on board with anybody picking anybody as their favorite. Depending on what type of quarterback you like, if you like a little bit more structure, you're going to like Champ. If you like more gunslinger, you're going to like Davin. If you like more of a true dual threat, you're going to like Kamden Lopati, who we're going to watch next. Who's the one true dual threat of the group that we're going to talk about. They're very different players, and people are going to like guys more or less, but the reality is they're all three really good football players, and you understand why these three guys are so high on the board for Notre Dame.
Yep. And the biggest benefit of all is we've watched Mike Denbrock have loads of success with all three different styles of quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Structured, gunslinger, dual threat. Very excited.
Yeah. Now, one of the reasons why you need to be on the Irish Breakdown message board is because this is actually all of this film and my analysis right here. And I put this out for free. That's why I'm showing it to you, just as an example, because I want people to – I'm going to do this for all positions. We've got one on running back, got one on receiver. I'm working on the tight end one, but I'm going to give you kind of, my thoughts and analysis, and then I include the film. So if you want to watch some film, you can watch the film. And then now we're going to dive next into the film, Trev, of Kamden Lopati, who is an Illinois commit that I have a feeling is not going to end up with Illinois because there's some big-time programs coming after Kamden. He is a talented player from Utah, big-time production. He is the true dual threat on the board in this of these three players, Trev, because he is a true run-throw quarterback.
Yeah, he is. Sidebar, the quickest thing that I had to get used to was him wearing number 0. I thought the first time I ran through this highlight tape, I thought he was number 8, and it was messing me up seeing that he was number 0.
Yeah. I've literally never seen a quarterback with that number.
Same. It was interesting. But skill set wise, you and I were talking about him a little bit before. Before they fixed his mechanics, he has a little bit of Tyler Buckner to him as a runner and as a passer. He's
let
a
me
little
rephrase
bigger
for you, Trevor. Before they ruined his mechanics.
Yeah. Yes.
And we're talking about Tyler. Yes, I agree with you.
Unfortunately. But
yep.
Exceptional athlete. But the one thing that I appreciate about Kamden Lopati is that with a lot of dual threat quarterbacks, they make plays with their arms because they're just such a good athlete. He's actually relatively mechanically sound for a dual threat athlete that's playing quarterback.
Yeah.
It's not like he plays for a high school where it's just, hey, he's their best athlete and they're putting him at quarterback. He might be their best athlete.
He's not Devin Dampier.
Right.
As a quarterback. Right, Trev? Like where he's kind of Devin Dampier's the modern day Woody Dantzler. Like he's an athlete that can play quarterback. This kid is a quarterback who's an athlete.
Yes.
That's how I describe it. Yeah. He's talented
absolutely.
Player.
Very.
What I think too, Trev, is he's a smart. He can make plays from the pocket. The only thing that I would say about Kamden, I'd say his arm strength is just a touch below the other two kids. Like, I don't think it's quite as strong, but he still has plenty of arm strength, and he can make the throws that you need to make in the Notre Dame offense. He's also the most proven of the two. He has the most high school production so far. He's a 2-year starter, stoned for well over almost 6,000 yards so far in his 2 years. He's also has over 1,300 yards in his career rushing.
Yep.
So he's very productive, and his athleticism, in my opinion, that translates. I mean, honestly, if you want to compare him to somebody, he's a better throwing Bear Bachmeier. Like that's how he's a better throwing Bear Bachmeier. Similar frame that what Bear had as a junior in high school, similar arm strength, but I think he's a little bit more natural passer, dual threat, but he's not like a Deuce Knight dual threat. Like that's a different kind of athlete. I think Bear is my comp, but I think I like his arm better than I like Bear's arm coming out of high school.
Yeah, that's a very good comp. Similar play styles. At this point, Kamden Lopati is a much more refined passer than where Bear was. Yeah, I agree. How long ago did he commit to Illinois?
Good. It's been a minute. Let me go look it up real quick, Trev. So that's his film. So we got done with his film, but let me just look this up real quick. So Kamden Lopati, let's see here. So let me go pull that up real fast. So he is the most the highest rank. What's funny is I think 247 real quick one, July of 25. So it was back in July 27th of 2025 before he really obviously blew up as a prospect, of course. But what's interesting is, so ESPN and On3 rivals have both Kamden and Davin as 4-star quarterbacks. And they have Davin, Champ, and Kamden as 4-star quarterbacks. On3 has all three of them ranked as 3 stars. Like, did you watch those? Do any of those kids strike you as a 3-star quarterback?
No.
Any of them? No.
No.
It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So I think those 3 kids, Trev, are guys that I'm very high on. Very high on.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. And I don't think that it's a coincidence that Notre Dame is starting to attract this level of talent at quarterback after what CJ did in 2025. He enters this season as a Heisman favorite. Bunch of different outlets, friends over at FanDuel also think the same of CJ Carr.
Mm-hmm.
So we talk a lot on the show about, the recruiting impact at wide receiver that CJ has, kind of that tertiary effect. And we're starting to see it at the quarterback position too. Obviously, Mike Denbrock and Gino Gadouli's continued development is going to help there too. But it opens up a whole new world when it comes to quarterback recruiting with this stuff. And those 3 kids are talented.
They are. And I'm sure at some point in time they'll add guys to the board if they don't think they're going to get one of these 3. Here's what I think Notre Dame's going to do at quarterback recruiting. I think they're going to kind of see how the next month or 2 goes and try to get these kids on campus. See how once they get them on campus, kind of get a read. Like, do we feel like we've got a shot with any of them? Do we feel like maybe we lead with some of them? Like those are things that you want to kind of try to find out. And if you do, then great. You try to get them. I know Champ is already scheduled for a visit on April 18th. I'm not sure about Davin and Kamden. I'm not saying they don't have visits scheduled, but I just don't have it on my visit schedule yet. I'll look into it. But Champ's already scheduled for a visit. He is coming. Let me see here. He's coming April 18th. So you're going to get him on campus for sure. I think what Notre Dame is going to do is try to get through the spring and see where they stand, at least through March and April, and see where they stand with these 3 kids, unless somebody else just really knocks their socks off in their evaluation. And they went out and saw all these kids during the spring. When they did their winter, they went when their January visits, they went and saw all these kids. I think if they feel like they've got a shot to close on one of the 3, then maybe they don't expand the board. If they're not sure that they're going to get one of the 3, I think that's when you'll see them expand the board. But these are the 3 kids that they really like the most, and these are 3 very talented quarterbacks, Trev. Very talented quarterbacks. Just got to get one of them. I think if you get one of them, then you've got a shot to get. I mean, I think all 3 of them are going to jump way up in the rankings. Kamden right now is the most consistently high ranked. I think Champ will end up as the highest ranked when it's all said and done. And I think Davin might have the highest ceiling of the 3. This is the way I look at it. Champ is the best combination of floor and ceiling. Kamden, I think, arguably has the highest floor. I think Davin has the highest ceiling. That's how I would rank the 3 of them. So they're really talented. They're really good quarterbacks.
It's a good conversation to have when all 3 of the guys that we're talking about are foundationally 4-star guys.
Yep.
I mean, that's a heck of a spot to be in.
Yep.
That's for sure.
Yep. No doubt.
Folks, that's going to do it for part 3 of today's show. We are going to wrap this all up by talking about breakouts on the offensive side of the ball. But before we get there, be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know whenever we go live. Whatever streaming platform you listen to us on, we would greatly appreciate a 5-star review. But as always, the best way to stay in tune, you guys just saw a little sneak preview into what the premium message boards look like and the type of breakdowns that Brian's putting out there almost every single day. You're going to want to make sure that you are a premium message board subscriber at boards.irishbreakdown.com.